quite possibly, next to The Dark Knight, this is one of the movies I can watch so many times in a row and never get tired of it. I feel that's a very few movies that come to mind that I can do that with. What is up, guys? I am back for my third time in this series, giving you movie recommendations that I hope you guys like and hope you guys will watch after I tell you about them. Last time I did 10 Things I Hate About You. Before that I did 40-Year-Old Virgin. Today I'm going to be talking about a movie that I have watched so many times I lost count after 500. I watched this movie since I was a kid. My dad put me onto it. He loves this movie probably as much as I do. It's just a classic in my opinion, and it will never get old to the test of time for me. It's just something that is near and dear to my heart, and probably one of the only movies that come to mind when I'm trapped on a deserted island and think of one thing I would watch on there on repeat. And this comes to mind first, even before The Dark Knight. Alright, so I'm going to tell you guys, what I'm going to be recommending you guys today is Tommy Boy, starring Chris Farley and David Spade, 1990s classic. So Tommy Boy is basically a movie about this young kid. He just graduates college, goes home to Sandusky, Ohio, where his dad owns this brake pads company, and it's supposed to be like the biggest company in the area where he lives. So, oh yeah, also forgetting, minor spoilers if you guys have never seen this yet, or if you guys plan on rewatching it, but just letting you know right now, yeah, I'm gonna be spoiling a little bit of this movie. I'm not doing it on purpose. I just feel like for me to go in depth about how much this movie means to myself, I have to talk more about what happens in the movie and just funny parts in the movie that hit home for me and just remind me of back when I was a kid, basically. So just, yeah, putting it out there, minor spoilers. So, okay, like I was saying, so he goes back home, Ohio, to a major company in his hometown that is run by his father. It's been in the family for generations. It's a brake pad company, and supposedly it's like the biggest company in his area, and it makes the town keep running, and it provides all the necessities they need for the town and stuff. It's just, yeah, it gives tons of people jobs and stuff there, and it's just awesome that his dad owns it. And then he goes back home and he plans on working the family business right after his dad. So speeding up a little bit, so his dad gets him the job, I mean, like, obviously, and he starts working there and stuff, and then all of a sudden his dad gets married too. So they plan this big wedding, and all of a sudden he passes away during the wedding, which is an inconvenience. So his dad was about to close this major deal, and they need someone to go out and sell these brake pads now, or else the company's going to go under. So who else will do it? It's Chris Farley. He and David Spade are going to go on the road. So it's basically like a road trip movie. So they're going to go on the road, start selling brake pads, try to keep the company running and from going under. Basically, it's really not a really complicated movie. It's very simple, and I think that's why I love it so much. Tommy Boy is just a Chris Farley classic, even though he didn't make a lot of movies during the time he was here on Earth, which is so sad, but it probably is his best movie. I heard that he really loved this movie to death too, and he wanted to promote it every chance possible, and it was just like something near and dear to his heart. And also, I'm just so glad that he got to put it out before his passing, because it is just a comedy classic in my opinion. Also, again, some minor spoilers about the plot. While he's on the road with David, the woman that he got married to, the father didn't know that they're actually like con artists. So she has a son, she brings him into the family, but nobody knows. You know what? I'm gonna stop. Too much spoilers, don't want to give it all away. I'm just going to say there's a little twist in the movie. So, I mean, it's not a big twist, but it's just something to keep you on your toes a little bit while watching the movie. It's not just all about him going on the road selling brake pads. So there is something else. I'm just going to say there. Don't want to spoil the movie too much, but yeah. So I guess what I would also like to say is, when I think of a wholesome, good comedy, none of that vulgar stuff like I've been talking, like 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's a PG-13 comedy movie, so I think it's good for all ages. There's nothing really raunchy or anything dirty about this comedy movie. It's something for the whole family, to be honest, I feel, honestly. And it's just, you know the phrase, how they say they don't make movies like they used to? This movie comes to mind when I think of that. Because I don't see a comedy like this being made probably in the past couple of decades. I haven't seen a movie like Tommy Boy come out recently at all. It's just all about big explosions, just very raunchy, nudity, vulgar language. It's just all about those type of comedies nowadays. I haven't seen a movie like Tommy Boy in a long time, and it just kind of makes me a little sad, because I would really like to see a movie like Tommy Boy come out today, honestly. Just for people, especially during quarantine right now, I feel like it would be a great breath of fresh air, in my opinion, for people to just laugh out loud to something that's really just stupid humor, but also funny, and nothing out of left field. It's predictable. This movie is predictable. I'll have to say that. It is a predictable movie. It's formulaic. It doesn't go outside the box. But at the same time, it's just something that will make anybody laugh, in my opinion. You can take my word for that. I feel like this will make anybody laugh. At least get one chuckle out of it from a person. Even though Chris Farley lives for such a short amount of time, I feel like his presence and his legacy lives on till this day. And I feel like almost everyone knows who Chris Farley was and what movies he did, and he was on SNL. That's where he got his start. Everybody knows Van Down by the River skit, his funny dance skit with Patrick Swayze, and I'm forgetting Chippendales. I feel like those are just classic skits on SNL that everybody knows and everybody has laughed at, and it's just good to know that his name will never be forgotten, because he brought laughter and joy and just put a smile on everybody's face when he was on screen or on TV. And it makes me happy, because Chris Farley, even though he wasn't the best actor on the block, he's probably one of the funniest actors I have come to know and love through the silver screen or the television set. I think he passed in 1997, so 2 years after I was born. I didn't get to see or hear too much about him because I was 2, so I had to live through his movies to understand him and to get to know him. And from the looks of it, he seemed like a really funny, great guy who always, every time he came in a room, he was probably the fun guy who brought life into the party and showed everyone a good time and got everybody laughing and chuckling and just partying and just doing the most. I feel like he was that guy. And that's how I saw him on screen. But also, everybody knows he had a drug problem, and which is sad, because his idols were John Belushi and John Candy, and he went out the same way they did, and it's sad to see, but he was going down a hard path with drugs, and it's just... But that's not how we remember him. We remember him through movies like Tommy Boy or SNL or even Black Sheep. So his legacy lives on, and I'm glad that Tommy Boy is still around. They play the movie on TV like frequently, and I think it's on some streaming services. I can't be 100% on that. I'd have to look it up. But it's just a comedy classic, and it's a great movie. Let me just give you a scene in particular. I think one scene in particular, I'm going to spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen it. When he puts on David Spade's jacket in the motel room. Fat guy, little coat. That's all I got to say. I feel like everybody knows that scene. Everybody knows those words. And it's just a scene that lives on forever. And it's just hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. That is the whole reason why I love Tommy Boy. And I love Chris Farley. He's just so freaking hilarious. But also, I'm talking about all the funny stuff about this movie and how it's a comedy classic and stuff. Also, and why I say they don't make movies like they used to, is because this comedy, unlike a lot of comedies out today, it has heart. And a lot of movies that come out nowadays, I feel, don't have heart. And this movie really did have heart. I mean, starting with his dad's passing and him trying to carry on his father's legacy by going out and selling these brake pads and trying to keep the business up and running and not going into closure. And especially at the end where there's a scene where he talks to his dad on the boat, trying to do something. I'm not going to spoil that part, but he's trying to do something on the boat, and he's just talking to his dad and praying for him and says he misses him. And it is kind of sad, but it's also just heartwarming to know that he is a lovable character, and he shows vulnerability, even though he's just a dumb guy in this movie. He shows that even though he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, he still has heart, and he still has hope for a lot of things in this movie, and that's why I also love it. It's just refreshing to see that in a movie, which you don't get to see nowadays. So I'll point out the cast really quickly. The cast is great. SNL cast: Chris Farley, David Spade, Dan Aykroyd, and then you have Brian Dennehy, who plays Chris Farley's father in the movie. Bo Derek, who plays the stepmom in the movie. Also, you have Rob Lowe as the stepbrother in the movie. I quotes just to give you a hint of the kind of twist in the movie. The cast is great. They play off each other. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's a good time, and perfect casting, in my opinion. Couldn't do better for this type of movie. And so, does this movie hold up? Well, like I said, they don't make movies like this anymore, so is it something I could see in theaters? Well, what Hollywood is producing and putting out at the moment? No, I couldn't see it in theaters, but would I like to see it in the theaters? Yes, I would. I would like to see a movie like this be made in the coming years, to be honest. I would like to see another Tommy Boy come out. Not a sequel, nothing like that, but maybe a movie similar to this. Even though there are a lot of similar movies to this, a lot of road trip movies that have the same premise as this, but none of them grab a hold of my heart more than Tommy Boy. And I would love to see another movie similar to this come out in recent years. I think it would be great. So, do I think it holds up? Personally, I think a movie like this should be made, so I think it holds up in my opinion. But would Hollywood put out something like this in coming years? I wouldn't bet on it, because that's not what Hollywood is all about right now. They're all about superhero movies and just really, really hard dramas, very dramatic movies, and raunchy comedies. And I don't see a movie like Tommy Boy coming out anytime soon. But how do I rate it? I give this a solid B+, A-. I know I'm being very lenient on the grade, because I know critics didn't like this movie. So, and I don't really care. Critics are not always the go-to for the best opinion on a film, because I feel like they have kind of an agenda of what they pick as a great film. Critics, I feel they all look for the same type of stuff, and that's why Tommy Boy doesn't really fall under that category, and I understand that, but also I just feel like critics got it wrong in this movie. This movie is just great. And like I said, B+, A-. I know I'm being lenient, probably a lot lower score from another person, even from a critic or something, but for me, it's just a movie that hits home, and I've watched it ever since I was a kid, so watch it today, can watch it on repeat for many more years to come. And I just love it. Tommy Boy's a great movie. Just take my recommendation for it. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. It's a great family comedy. It will give you laughs from beginning to end, and it will also warm your heart a little bit. It's a very heartwarming movie, like I said. So I think that will wrap it up for my recommendation to you guys this week for Tommy Boy. Go out and watch it. Chris Farley classic. I think it hits all the right check marks in the film, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. It's only an hour 30 minutes, not going to take up too much of your time. Just give it a watch. Also, if you do watch it and you have been watching my videos, maybe leave a comment down below of what you thought of the movie, and if you agree with me that it is a comedy classic and Chris Farley is probably one of the best comedians of our time. If you have any recommendations about any other like SNL movies that you would like me to hear talk about or recommend to you, or even do a movie viewing on, just put it down in the comments, because I'm a huge Adam Sandler fan. I feel like I've seen almost all his films, even the newer ones, even though some people think they suck, and I know they're not great, but they're also still a good time. But yeah, like, if there's any SNL movies you feel I should watch that I haven't yet, or just, give me recommendations in the bottom. Yeah, I think this about wraps it up, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and hearing me, well, not really rant, but give you good recommendation reviews about films that I feel are a good pick for people to watch. And I feel this is a good series that I'm doing right now, because I feel like I should give back to you the movies that I have come to love through the years, and I want to pass that on to you and have you guys share in the love that I have given to these films, because they are classics in my opinion, and they are great. I will catch you guys in my next video, and you guys have a great day and be awesome. Alright? Peace.